I've spent thousands of hours of sales strategy, implementation, and experimentation, and it's made me over $111 million plus. From all this experience, I've developed the perfect closing strategy by harnessing the power of human psychology. And it's something you can do regardless of how much money and experience you have, and I would know because I started from zero. But before we get into how to use human psychology in our favor, let's take a brief look into why closing can be so hard for most people. If you're looking from a buyer's perspective, all they care about are two things. Number one is that what you're selling gets them what they want. They only care about themselves. Number two is that you are a trustworthy source and aren't lying to them. And from the seller's perspective, they only care about one thing, that you buy what they are selling so that they can make money. From the jump, psychology is set up against us because the buyer doesn't care if we get paid or not, and the seller doesn't care if the buyer gets what they want or not. In the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, which is about the former American stockbroker and financial criminal Jordan Belfort, there's a scene where he asks his partner Donnie to sell this pen to one of their new recruits. Donnie looks at the recruit and says, "Well, John, how long have you been in the market for a pen?" John responds by saying, "Well, I haven't been." Donnie then looks at him and says, "Well, f you, and here's your stupid pen back," and throws it at John's head. See, Donnie understood that trying to get John to want to buy a pen where there was no initial interest was an uphill battle. That's why some of the best salesmen all come from door-to-door sales, because they get good at getting someone to gain interest in a product right there on their doorstep in just a few minutes, which isn't easy. But Donnie knew if you want to make big money with sales, you'll only talk to interested buyers. By simply understanding this, we start to tip the scale of psychology in our favor. That's why before we move into a sales call, anything we can do to pre-qualify the prospect up front will make a massive difference. Things like organic content, paid ads, pre-call applications, emails, text messages, communities or Facebook groups, even YouTube videos like these. If we can get the prospect to have an interest in what we're selling before we start selling it, we already have increased our chances by over 50% that this person will buy. Early in my business career, I thought I sucked at sales because it seemed like every single phone call I got on, the customer just wasn't ready to buy. I couldn't understand what I was doing wrong, and I would give each and every call my all, but it just didn't work. Eventually, by implementing a stricter application process and canceling the ones that seemed to have low interest, I was able to double my closing rate. Some salesmen will brag they can close anyone like a badge of honor, but veterans will let the rookies waste all their time and energy on the less interested buyers, while they take the very best ones. Now, once we are only talking to interested buyers, we will start to use the rest of our power to influence the mind of the prospect with this sales script. Now, there's 8 points to a perfect script, and I'm going to take you through each point to understand how to use psychology the entire way to manipulate the buyer into buying your product and service. Now, some people will get upset when I use the word manipulate, but that's exactly what sales is. The more ethical you are, the better it will be for both parties and your long-term reputation. But it is indeed manipulation. First up is the intro or pre-frame. Now, in every sales call we take, the goal is to get them to like us as quickly as possible. There's two main things you can do to get someone to like you. Number one is let them talk about themselves. People will talk for 20 minutes while you say nothing and say, "Wow, you are such a good salesperson." This is because people love talking about themselves and love when someone will listen. Use this psychology principle to your advantage. And number two, relate back to them. People like those who are similar to them. The sooner you can find common ground, the more likely it is they are going to like you. Try to find something in the first few minutes like sports, traveling, kids, cars, or anything else where you can relate to them. The more similar you seem, the more trust you gain.